apparently there was an alternate ending in the movie, The Marvels. Apparently there was an alternate ending where Captain Marvel was going to die? Question mark? Let's check this out.
Was this ending always the plan for Dar-Ben?
Oh my God, that's pretty loud.
No.
Oh.
I see him again. Oh.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. There was always going to be. I mean, can I say spoilery things?
Yeah, this is
always
really for people who have seen the movie already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So there was always going to be an epic death, just because in terms of, I just think in terms of like just bringing that story psychologically for Carol like to a close, I think was always the best thing. You know, you don't want to think, did she defeat her? Is this over? Is she going to be kind of doomed to this life of feeling guilty about this whole thing, you know, forever and ever? Or is she going to get this redemptive moment where Dar-Ben's out of the picture and then she gets to almost take on the mantle of what she was trying to do? You know, it's a really redemptive arc for that character. So there was always going to be like an epic fight and an epic death at the end. I will say I did a day's diving training because there was going to be a lot of water involved in the original death.
That would be interesting. And then you never filmed it?
Yeah, then we never filmed it.
Had to go full Michael Phelps just for...
Yeah, right. Exactly. There was another ending that we did film where Brie and myself are kind of in space, still having it out, and they kind of combust together, which was really amazing. That was just a day on wires hanging out with Brie, which is, you know, surreal and fun. But yeah, there were a few different plans, I think.
Wow. Yeah,
Wow.
It seems like that's pretty common on a lot of these. They just keep changing. They land on what serves the story best.
Yeah, and also where all of the other threads in the universe are at that time. You know, again, it's like putting respect on the fans' names and their investment in these films. You know, you want to pull those threads together in everything, for everything. So you are genuinely part of this universe that needs to all check out, needs to complement each other in every way, really. So you know, I'm happy to be a kind of a movable.
Okay, so main takeaway: there was a version of the ending where Dar-Ben and Captain Marvel were going to be fighting together, and then they were going to combust together. So Captain Marvel was potentially going to die at the end of the Marvel. And I gotta know, chat, what are your thoughts? What's your reaction to this? Like, what do you think? And I got some kind of spicy shit. I got some spicy takes. We're gonna get blocked by a couple of more people for this one, okay? This is so interesting to me because it made me think of that moment in Endgame. And I don't know if you guys had this experience, but when I was in the theater and Thanos took the Power Stone and he socked Captain Marvel, people cheered. That's not cap. I'm being 100%. I'm keeping it a stack with you. People cheer. They were like, yeah, get her. Dude, that's real. That's what happened. Okay? And this is the thing that I think is so fascinating about this. Like, if they would have killed Captain Marvel, I'm telling you, people would have cheered. Maybe not like the 13 people that actually went to go see that movie in the theater, but like people across the world would have been cheering. You know what I mean? It would have been something akin to putting all the Genki into the air so that Goku can do the Spirit Bomb. It would have been a lot of positivity, okay? And that might kind of suck to hear, maybe, if you're like a fan of Carol or whatever. But here's the thing. Marvel can't read the room when it comes to Captain Marvel. Carol should be a heel, okay? Now, I don't know a ton about wrestling. I'm not like an expert on all that sort of stuff, but I have seen wrestling live. In fact, there was a time, this was actually before the lockdown and the pandy and, you know, everything that happened in 2020. There was a time where I was living in Pittsburgh, but I would come up to Erie about once a month and I would watch local wrestling, okay? Now, one of the things that's fascinating about local wrestling, and just I would imagine this extends to wrestling in general, is the crowd dictates where the story goes. Have you ever heard the expression over? Like, this person is over with the crowd? What that means is the crowd likes that person. And I've got this really crazy example here that will tie back into Carol and explain why Marvel is completely clueless as to what they should actually do with Carol Danvers, with Brie Larson, and that character, Captain Marvel, in the MCU. There was a guy that was from a out-of-town team, okay? And this one out-of-town guy, I think his name was like Paris or Pegasus or some shit like that, right? This guy, for whatever reason, the crowd started liking him. Okay, again, this is an out-of-town guy. This isn't our guy. But the crowd starts liking this guy, okay? Then all of a sudden, like, I notice on the next time I'm there, he's getting more love. They're kind of like building this dude up a little bit. This all leads to a point where he betrays the out-of-town squad, helps one of our dudes, becomes champion, and the crowd fucking loved, okay? So if I was Kevin Feige, and if I were Marvel Studios, and I noticed that when Thanos punched Brie Larson in the face, everybody cheered, instead of like trying to pretend that didn't happen, or trying to like say, oh, well, we'll be able to work our way out of this one, or we'll be able to get her more over, or whatever thought process actually took them to do all the things they're doing. They should have actually just said, you know, that's interesting. We could actually turn Carol into a bit of a heel here, and that might actually resonate with the crowd a little bit better, okay? Because I think what's going on with Brie and Captain Marvel right now is just, it's just not good. I mean, you're talking about, what is it, the 33rd movie 15 years into a franchise is the lowest grossing movie in its history. It's a super bad look, and there's just like no real positive way to spin out of that. I know there's some anon stupid accounts out there that are trying to make it seem like since the thing hit Disney Plus, everybody figured out it's a good movie. No, they didn't. You know, and that's, by the way, the Marvels isn't even bad. It's just fans don't care. Like, that's what it is. So I would use Brie Larson more as the heel. Set up a Civil War II. Make her unsympathetic. Make her the heel. Give her a darkness arc, man. That would work so much better. I feel like it would be so much cooler. But it's just like, I don't know, they can't conceive of doing that. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, to me, it's really silly because when I saw the story, I mean, first of all, that's crazy because it kind of means they were potentially going to kill off Brie Larson. And I recall that one interview she did where she's on the carpet and just being the absolute charming sweetheart that she always is. And they were like, are we going to see more of Captain Marvel? And she's like, no. Does anybody even want me to do it again? You know what I mean? What a sweetheart, you know? What a lovable person. I have no idea why the fans aren't responding to her well. Was that conversation, was that interview around the time that maybe they were going to kill her off? Do you know what I mean? Like, is that what was going on? Where she's like pulling a Han Solo in Star Wars? Like, I really think you should kill him off, George. I don't want to do this shit anymore. Nobody can read these lines. This is fucking ridiculous. I'm Indiana Jones. You know what I mean? Like, is that what's going on there? What a crazy situation. So I felt like this was a really fun story, and it took me on a train of thought where I was like, bro, like, they actually have something with Brie Larson. The problem is they're trying to treat her like a baby face, and nobody likes that bitch. I'm sorry. That's what it is. I didn't even decide that. It's not like I'm out there doing the propaganda to try to make that happen. She did that shit on her own, and you should have taken that, twisted it, done some weird, crazy alchemy, and just made her a heel. It would have been much better. So, again, I have no idea why all these people block me on Twitter. It's crazy. You know, I really don't get it. But I wanted to kind of give my take on this story. I wonder what you guys think as well.